So can you eat unlimited portions on a plant-based diet? The question on everyone's lips, isn't it? Ryan, can I eat as much as I want, and as long as it's whole plant foods, I can go back for seconds, I don't ever have to think about calories, weighing or measuring or any of that nonsense, and because it's healthy, I'm gonna remain in control of my weight, I'm gonna make sure that I'm feeding myself the right stuff nutritionally as well. It's not just about the scales, but I'm gonna get all the nutrients that I need to. Can I do that while still eating unlimited portions? Well, to cut to the chase on this, absolutely not. And this is the reality check I think that a lot of people across, I will say, the nutrition spectrum have, because this all comes from, part of the mythos that, again, permeates all the different, let's say, popular diet nutrition methodologies out there. I see this in the carnivore, keto community as well, an awful lot too. It isn't exclusive to the plant-based nutrition world. This idea that as long as the food is healthy, as long as you're eating quote unquote cleanly, of course then there's an important secondary discussion of what makes a food healthy and what's clean eating, because lots of people have different interpretations of that across the diet spectrum, but that's a can of worms for a different day, of course, a different video. But let's say in our case, as long as it's whole plant foods, Ryan, can I eat as much as I want and still manipulate my physique to get the goals that I want on and off the scale? No, the answer is absolutely not. It isn't a free pass. Eating clean, eating good quality of composition of nutrient-rich foods in your diet is absolutely not a green light to never think about weighing, measuring, caring about portions, calories, etc., etc. Sadly. Now, of course, as with many of these discussions, there's nuance here. And I've talked about this many times, one of the reasons I must say that I fell in love with this way of eating is because I got to eat big whilst losing weight. But big and large portions, not unlimited now, but large portions, they are relative, aren't they, to the person? To me at the time, it felt amazing. It was an absolute blessing to eat the mountains in my mind of whole grains, tubers like potatoes, sweet potatoes and yams, and beans and legumes, and be able to create a meal that was far greater in volume and thus satisfaction and fullness than maybe a meal that was equivalent, certainly in a calorie perspective, but equivalent from animal products, or certainly obviously processed junk foods. And so that was beautiful and that was a blessing. And I think that's where this misconception, certainly in the plant-based community, comes from, is yeah, we have the correct understanding that many of the foods under the plant-based umbrella have a really advantageous calorie density, and the satisfaction they bring because of all the fiber, all the water, versus, again, lots of animal products and lots of processed foods. It does mean that the bang for buck ratio of calories to volume is really fantastic with this lifestyle. It's a bit word salad what I've just said there, and there's a lot of jargon. So to make it blunt, yeah, you get to eat big and it is possible to lose weight on a plant-based diet, but big is not unlimited and there's nuance there. And again, what is a large meal to me might not be to you. So when someone on YouTube is telling you, oh, don't worry about calories and portions, just eat plants, which I hear an awful lot. I think it's poor advice from folks that I otherwise see eye to eye with on an awful lot of nutrition matters. But again, teachers and educators, even nutritionists in my community that say this verbatim, that might be what you believe right now because that's what you've been told, but my view is entirely differently. No, there is a calorie ceiling before you'll be going into a calorie surplus and gaining weight. And this is, again, just from the lens of weight loss, but we also could look at this at the lens of getting all the nutrients that you need, both macro, carbs, protein and fat, micronutrients as well, including fiber, wherever you fit that, however you categorize fiber. Some people call it the fourth macronutrient. But then, of course, magnesium, vitamin C, potassium, etc., selenium, etc., etc. Am I getting all the nutrients, never mind the calories, am I getting all the nutrients that I need from just unportioned, unlimited plant-based eating? Potentially, because you're eating large volumes, but potentially not. What are the large volumes of? When we say unlimited portions, do you think the rice is unlimited? Or do you think the nuts are unlimited? Or are you talking about the amount of spinach that you use? So again, there's nuance, because some foods contain more of one nutrient than another, more calories than another. So maybe you can be more liberal. Maybe there's some plant foods you can actually eat more or less, not quite, but realistically unlimited, or much larger portions than something like white rice, which will go down the hatch in no second, and it's easy. Peanut butter, it's easy to just eat calories and calories of peanut butter in a couple of serving spoons. Is that the same with blueberries? Is that the same with red bell pepper? Is that the same with baby carrots that you munch on because you're still a bit hungry come 10 p.m? No, of course not. So nuance to all of this. This can be overwhelming. I'm even getting overwhelmed as I talk, because the question is a very simple one. Can you eat unlimited portions on a plant-based diet? Literally, yes, you can. Is it advisable? Absolutely not. Is it an appropriate way to control what's going in your body and what your body does on the scale? Absolutely not. It is utterly terrible advice. And it's something that I wish the plant-based community as a whole could move on from now. Portions and calories still matter just because the food is healthy. The amount of clients that I put some screenshots here of a recent conversation I had about this and shared on my Instagram story. The amount of clients that come to me and their diet is directionally whole plant foodsy, it's really healthy. They're not doing much or any of the vegan junk foods. They're not having cocktails on the side. They're pretty darn good with sleep, exercise, hydration, rest recovery, everything else. They're checking the conventional boxes of weight loss wisdom. But again, they felt that they had license, because this is what they'd been told, again, verbatim, license to eat as much as they want, as long as it's plants. And when we just box them in, the messages that I get from people saying, Ryan, I feel like you honestly haven't changed my diet that much, thank you. You've made a meal plan that really mirrors how I like to eat, thank you. It doesn't feel like I should even be losing weight, but I've lost 8 pounds in the first couple of weeks with you. What's going on here? It's just the calories. We just put a lid on the calories and we manipulate the diet in the best way that we can. And that's why finally having some calorie awareness is like the wake-up call to people. I watch people in the plant-based community put all this energy and effort into clean eating, but they're not watching the scale drop, or it's inconsistent. They're not in control of it. They lose the first 10 pounds, then they hit a wall, but they're stubbornly like, no, I'll keep doing this plant-based thing, I'll eat healthy. And literally they are like 2 or 3 little tweaks in their diet that they'd hardly even notice. They just don't have the knowledge, they don't have the understanding, not to be patronizing, but they don't yet. Just a couple of little tweaks, you pull the right levers and boom. That's the difference between losing no weight or even going back up the scale and losing 2.5 pounds a week, a nice steady 2 pounds per week. Just a couple of diet changes, and it all comes from boxing people in, putting some constraints on there, respecting portions and calories. What gets measured gets managed, calories still matter, and the nutrients matter too. And again, unlimited portions on a plant-based diet, does that necessarily mean you're going to hit the appropriate, not too much, not too little carbs, protein, fat, fiber, selenium, magnesium? No, not necessarily. So you still need structure, and this is what I've landed on. Now, of course, you can do what you want. If you don't care about what your weight is, if you don't care about getting a balance with the macro and the micronutrients, it doesn't really matter. So yes, technically, you can only eat unlimited portions on a plant-based diet, but it's absolutely against my recommendation. If you want me to handle all the numbers for you, remove all of the guesswork because this is overwhelming, this is exactly what I do for my clients inside Slim and Sustain. I build the meal plan for them to put them in the right calorie sweet spot without them having to actually track the calories and by extension the macronutrients themselves, so they can have peace of mind, and it takes away all the decision fatigue, again, all the guesswork, so they know every day exactly what and how much to eat, and that will make the scale move when they hit a plateau. I do all of the adjustments as well, and then of course provide the support and accountability ongoing to make sure they're losing a realistic and sustainable 4 to 8 pounds per week, until they get to their ideal healthy body weight range, all with simple, you know what I share if you've been following me for years, simple, repeatable, but still satisfying plant-based meals. If you want me to do all of this, handle all the numbers for you, you can go learn about Slim and Sustain below. But the key message, the big takeaway that I want to finish on here is no, you can't eat unlimited portions on a plant-based diet. And in fact, the more you respect that there is a deeper structure here, the more you move beyond the paradigm of just eat plants, you will notice your physique get in tip-top shape in much faster time than you think when you just let that idea go that you can eat as much as you want, calories don't matter, let it go. Submit yourself to the idea there's structure and it still matters even when you eat healthily. And yes, simultaneously eating more cleanly allows you to eat larger portions, but large isn't the same as unlimited. Just having that nuanced understanding, honestly, that's going to change your physique in really no time at all. Honestly, it sounds like I'm exaggerating, but I watch people for years eat whole plant foods, never lose weight. 4 weeks on my program, 10 pounds down. Just like literally no time at all in the grand scheme of how long they've been doing this. You can unlock the door when you pull the right levers. And calories and portions are still a really big lever, even when you're eating healthy.